trial within a trial is continuing in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. The defense will cross-examine Vivian Cronje, the magistrate who took down Bongani Ntanzi's confession. Well, she told the court that Ntanzi was willing to confess, and he did so in the presence of his lawyer. Well, previously, Cronje had told the court that Ntanzi showed no signs of being assaulted. So let's, of course, listen into some of that evidence before we go live to our reporter in Pretoria. But I understand Manqoba Mchunu, of course, standing by as well to give us some of those updates, and we'll take you, of course, live in court. Let's start with Manqoba Mchunu, our reporter, who is, of course, giving us these developments now. Manqoba, a very warm good morning to you. Where you stand, I mean, quite a busy day in court as well regarding this trial within a trial, perhaps starting with some reflections as to what the witness yesterday, Vivian Cronje, had to say.
Well, Dumela Magistrate who took accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi's so-called confession, telling the court that Ntanzi was relaxed, calm and comfortable when he made the alleged confession on the 24th of June in 2020. And Vivian Cronje also saying that he had voluntarily and freely made this confession in the presence of a lawyer, Mr. Mjiyako, who sat throughout those proceedings. She also says accused 2 was happy to make that statement and that he was read his rights prior to the confession and had in fact agreed to do so. She says that he had been read back that particular confession and had also signed in front of his lawyers. And this is crucial because it is arguments accused 2 will tell this court that that statement had in fact been taken from him under duress and that he had been tortured into making that so-called confession. He claims that he never signed that particular statement, but what Magistrate Cronje told this court is that Ntanzi was more than willing to make the statement, and crucially, she says Ntanzi was not pressured or assaulted to do so. Let's take a listen to that evidence that came out of court.
Was asked, did the police or any other person assault or threaten you to make the statement? Answer, no, not at all.
Umbuzo olandelayo ke ngamaphoyisa noma nje noma uyimuphi umuntu ke owakushaya noma owakusabisa ke ukuthi wenze le statement cha naka lutho nje.
Did anyone influence you to make this statement? Answer, no, I decided on my own.
Ingabe ukhona yini umuntu owaba nomthelela ukuthi wena uzokwenza lesi statement lesi cha isinqumo engayithathela mina?
Did anyone encourage you to make the statement? Answer, no.
Khona yini owakugqugquzela ukuthi wenze le statement cha?
Were any promises made to you to persuade you to make the statement? Answer, no.
Ngaba ikhona yini ithembiso ezenziwa kuwena ukuthi ke noma ke ukugqugquzela ukuthi ke wenze statement lesi? Impendulo yathi cha.
Do you expect to derive any benefits from making the statement? Answer, no, not at all.
Well, of course, what is crucial in this trial within a trial is the lawfulness of it all, because this is exactly what this hearing is about, trying to determine whether these confessions should be admitted as court or as evidence rather in court, and if they can be used in the main trial. But to unpack this, I'm now joined by legal analyst Elton Hart. Thank you very much, Elton, for your time. Let's unpack yesterday's evidence, quite strong evidence from Magistrate Cronje, which seems to suggest that Bongani Ntanzi had voluntarily made these confessions. Is this the sense you are getting?
No, indeed so, Manqoba. If you look at what the magistrate testified yesterday, it seems like it was clear-cut that Bongani Ntanzi has made this confessions freely and voluntarily. And the thing is now, it will depend on how the cross-examination from the defense team will work as to actually probe. Because she already said something that triggered my mind, is that there was a constable that was standing at the door, and when she asked them about the names of the Ekurhuleni people that was involved, she got a little bit irritated. I would, as a defense team, look into that as to why. Maybe then we can then tender evidence to say that these guys were actually the ones that tortured him or coerced him into making this statement, but they need to, and she never canvassed that with him to say even about these guys, because it's clear-cut from the statements or the pro forma that she read out, that the answers was no. But also there was one of the things that she said he asked for a bath, he asked to phone his kid, he asked to phone his family. Now, sometimes if a person asked to bath, it means that he was kept in custody for a couple of days without, and that can be a form of torture. Maybe she might not perceive it as that, but it can be so. But at this point in time, that evidence look a little bit damning against the defense team, especially accused 1 and 2, as to how they will get themselves out of saying that these confessions were made freely and voluntarily.
And an audio recording of these confessions rather available. Should the defense be worried?
I think they should be worried, and obviously we can now just speculate about it, and we need to check and hear what, if it will come to our ears to actually, because they will keep that away from us as far as possible, to hear what is actually being said there, and only by the cross-examination, because the defense teams will be able to listen to these confessions and maybe they can draw something out of there. But if I'm the defense, I would be looking at that issue of him asking to take a bath. That could have triggered something to say that they deprived him of his basic human rights. Maybe even he was kept away from using ablution blocks and those type of things. And that's all the tricks that was used by the then security police to actually to wear a person down to actually make a confession. Because the mere fact that he also said he wants to phone his daughter, maybe one can read into say he wanted to say to her, listen, yeah, something bad is going to happen to dad, yeah, and I just want to say goodbye to you. So it depends on how they can actually use that the magistrate has given the court to their advantage.
Well, thank you very much, Elton. We don't have much time. Well, proceedings are expected to start at 10 this morning, with Magistrate Cronje's version expected to be tested by the defense.
We'll, of course, give our viewers that inside view of what happens inside court. Thank you so much, colleague, for giving us rather this clarity and also just reflections on what exactly came out from the testimony of Vivian Cronje yesterday inside court. We'll take you live to the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial within a trial as soon as it begins.